Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Challenge 41 Wrap Up Podcast for episode 14. I am Brian Cohen. Me, as always, my co-host, Alice. How are you?
Brian, I'd like to take back everything that Olivia ever said about Theo this season.
What are we taking back? What are we taking back?
Just any suggestion that Theo does not have that dog in him, that Theo does not have the fight. Theo is single-handedly, right or wrong, I've criticized the moves from a game perspective. Right or wrong, Theo is single-handedly saving the back half of this season from being a death march for the Closet Alliance. He's got that fight in. Maybe not in the first half of the challenges, but I'm here ready to. Theo's the Newt. Theo's the Voot. I'm a champion for Theo this week.
Yeah, no, I mean, Theo, I think for sure, is like basically the MVP of the season. It's pretty incredible. I mean, this is what we saw from him when he was like, face to face with Paulie, like one of his first seasons, like getting into it in the mix, doing great challenges in the mix. We didn't see this version of him when he came back post injury. Maybe there was cut or whatever, but this is the version of Theo that everyone was so hyped about when he was able to come back, and he is. It's been great. It's been very entertaining for Theo.
I shudder to think what this back half of the season would have looked like without him. I mean, I guess if the Closet Alliance was decimated sooner, maybe we have intrigue in the main alliance eating each other. But I really just love the fight that Theo is continuing to bring. And yeah, I felt like, oh, right. Like there was a time where Brian would have cursed Theo with calling him the future of the challenge. Like we were
Probably
so hype
did.
on him. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't blame you for the whole Cork incident, but no, I just like felt very like, oh, right. And it's so interesting to see something like that happen, a transition like this happen midway through a season. Like
Right.
I really wrote him off. And so now after 3 eliminations and consistent fighting and a strategy move that does one move that blows up and one move that pays off, I'm just grateful for Theo out here.
I'm grateful for
G4T.
Theo. The one thing I'm not grateful for, and this is a sidebar, but I've seen some comments about my when we start the podcast, the which I'm sure will be in this one, the millennial pause, which I feel like that's a separate sidebar. But the reason why there is one for this one, just a little peek behind the curtain, is when I press record, there's a little bell that pops up in RHAP. Welcome to the show. I start right after that bell is done, I think. Now, when it makes it to YouTube, I think there's a little bit of a delay between that. And that's why, because I saw some comments about the millennial, I wanted to watch it back. There is like a very awkward, like 2-second period. I'm just like staring at the camera waiting. I swear, I'm starting it right after that bell. I might just start talking over the bell, and maybe we'll just like, have it all mushed together to avoid the millennial pause going forward. But I just wanted some clarity as to what might be causing that for people that are leaving such comments.
So if I may offer some clarity for you, Brian, as between us, you are always, and it's clear it's the system because the system automatically mutes us.
Right.
So when I finish the bell on my end, I see you in silence, still muted for like the full 2.5 seconds until you say hello. And I just was like, meh, whatever, kind of our style, deal with it. You shouldn't even be watching on YouTube anyway. That's your fault.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely like not a YouTube delay. Like you are on a delay.
I'll take the delay. Then I don't know what to do with this bell. Can we cut the bell? Because I want to just press recording and jump into it. But there's the delay bell. I don't know what to do.
What if we just stop doing video? No issue.
We could. But that was my quick sidebar. We can get back to the episode.
I didn't want to bring it up. I didn't want, I respect you for addressing the haters. I didn't want to validate them with the response because also.
No, I validate. I love validating haters. It's fun to do. I don't know. Give them credit. They were right. It's not like they were like wrong. There is a delay. There is the millennial pause. So I'm validating them.
Okay. Well, something I don't want to validate, but the show kind of did, is like that we haven't really heard from Nani and Will in a while.
Right.
And then now we have them like wifed up, husband up, like coupled up, whatever, in the gym. And like their full on relationship behavior is like really grossing me out. But
Mm-hmm.
I also like really don't understand where the two of them stand in the game together or not.
Yeah, there was. This feels a little bit like one of those like sitcoms where they have people fight, and then it's like the next episode they're just like back together. Because I feel like the last time we saw them having any sort of monumental conversation about their relationship, they were like breaking up, basically. Like after like when Will was calling people out for cheating, Nani's like, I need to step away from Will. I don't want to be a part of it. Am I making that up? Did that not happen?
Oh, I didn't like see it as a breakup. I thought she was just like Will's like putting his foot in his mouth and like maybe like ooh distance. But I didn't see it as
I thought
like
she
a
wanted
breakup.
just to like separate from him and be done, and then maybe just like time heals all wounds. After a few couple extra weeks, she's like, yeah, forget it. I'll just go back to him. But
Beautifully
I feel like
blend.
we missed the transition.
Yeah. Another thing I missed is like Will and I don't know, man. Like people from the actual show, let us know how Will is in person. If Will is just getting the worst edit in the history of the world. And it's exaggeration, but is Will getting a bad edit or is Will a weird dude? Because when he has this confessional of like, I have a mentality where like I need to like stick in the game as long as I can or stick this out as long as I can. I don't know if Nani has that same mentality. Like he's constantly questioning the
Mm-hmm.
commitment to the show that the women in his life have. And I'm just like, on what basis has Nani shown that she's not committed to the game? This is one of her best performances
Mm-hmm.
in recent memory. So, and I say recent memory because you can't at me. It's my recent memory, which could just be the season. But Nani's having an amazing season. Like,
Yeah.
Will, you're on the ropes. You're with the partner that you can't get along with on the ropes. Nani is thriving, locked in with her partner, and performing better than him.
Yeah, it's hard to say it's a bad edit because this is now 3 separate instances with women that Will has had a bad edit with. Like there was the whole D
I'm
thing,
not saying it's a bad edit.
right?
I'm
I don't think
asking.
it is. I think it's Will being a weird dude because there's D, there's Olivia, there's Nani, there's a lot of people that have come across this season that Will has interacted with. That it's like I don't know, is Will the bad dude? It's like yeah, probably he is. I think it's like 3 for 3, check, check, check. That I would say Will, maybe not a bad dude, but a weird dude, and maybe someone that can give you some heebie-jeebies.
So the only reason I'm like willing to asterisk that it willing, but I agree. Like again, we can only watch what we see on the show, and it's not a good look for Will. I must said for your boy. I don't want to put that on you. Like
No,
for
please
Will.
don't.
um,
Yeah, no.
but we're hearing more in these streets about what D was talking about with Bananas on his podcast about Turbo. So, like, the only reason I'm holding space for the possibility that there's like some weird editing going on is because it does seem like Turbo is being deeply protected by the edit. And we kind of get a version of the conversations going on with Turbo and Sydney here this week where he's like, you're so sad, and he's trying to cheer her up in kind of a weird way, and is like, when you're sad, just say I need Turbo, just like say you need me. Apparently, so just to refresh everyone's memories, Dee said last week that on a podcast that Turbo like wasn't letting Sydney or was trying to stop Sydney from like calling home, calling her boyfriend, like didn't want her talking to other men. And it was sort of like unclear what that was motivated by or what that even meant. So Sydney responded to someone on Twitter and said he was not trying to help when he ignored personal boundaries, excessively close, possessive, repeated trying to put an arm around me, etc. Culture is no excuse, especially after making clear I have a boyfriend and boundaries were ignored. Anyone will tell you I was stiff and visibly uncomfortable. And so like it does seem like Turbo was being more than a friendly partner to Sydney, making Sydney uncomfortable, being possessive. We have
Mm-hmm.
Dee talking about it. Theo's been in the comments talking about it. So they're protecting Theo. Like they're throwing Will under the bus and protecting Turbo, throwing Will under the bus and protecting Turbo.
I mean, and it kind of makes sense because, like, Sydney, the last couple weeks, like, what she's giving in confessionals, what she's giving in the house, what she's doing in challenges, like, all of it feels so disconnected and disjointed that it does feel like they're trying to piece together a puzzle, like, incorrectly with Sydney. So it does feel like we're missing, like, the overarching piece of it, which could be her uncomfortableness around her partner Turbo, and that's like the one piece they're not showing because there's so many different things we're getting with Sydney. Again, it's like the fake bravado of confidence, but also like she's feeling down on herself, but also she still feels like she's like the threat of threats can go against anyone. Like we're seeing all these different versions of Sydney, and it seems like the one thing that we're missing is like she just might actually just be super uncomfortable with her partner.
Yeah, I think it's grounds for, I'm curious to see if this gets addressed in the reunion. I'm curious to see how more interviews come out and talk about it, if Sydney says anything more about it. Sorry, Turbo needs to stop coming back on the show if that's happening. Like, period. And the fact that they're not airing it leads me to think that they're not going to penalize him for it unless people start really talking about it and really making a thing of it. I'm incredibly I'm incredibly uncomfortable by this, but not surprised that they're editing out a woman being made to feel uncomfortable by her male partner and instead making it like she's just randomly sad.
Right.
Like,
It's also the
that's
thing.
weird.
Yeah, it's also the point of like by not showing it, you're allowing like people's story, how they're describing it, and then people's imaginations to run more wild. Like I don't know, maybe what he's doing isn't so bad, or so. We don't know because we're not seeing it. But the fact that they're just letting people like not letting people, the fact that some people are just like talking about it, and then everyone else's imaginations kind of run wild as to what it might be. It might be like tenfold worse than what it actually is. But if they just show it, that we can all kind of like judge for ourselves, and it can kind of be flushed out more thoroughly than just us having to like fill in the gaps.
We get a kind of forced look. I felt forced look at Leo and Jake's relationship. Now, it cracked me up because Leo is literally telling Jake, like, I'm going to be locked in to the main alliance who works together. We'll still help each other, but I'm like with Ashley. And Jake's like, yeah, but why male models? Like, will you still vote for Turbo? Would you consider voting for Turbo over Theo? So, like, God bless Jake. He's like the Charlie Brown of the season. But I also, like, don't care that much about the relationship between Leo and Jake. Like, to me, this was like a big visibility spike for Leo. And, like, there's not, I guess, much to say anymore about him because he was, like, trying to be the ringleader of the rookies. And then he just got swallowed by his veteran partner, which is, like, the correct game move for him. But, like, I'm not that interested in this bromance. I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would say Leo's game this season is really just like that horse drawing meme. Like the front head of the horse is like super well, like super put together, and the back is just like a sketch artist. Like he was such a big character. He was like the Theo for the first 6-7 weeks, and then these back 7 weeks, he's been such a non-factor. Which I mean, to your point, like he was probably in a very good position if they just like didn't finish last to like get to a final and maybe do pretty well in said final. So like I'm not even saying he didn't necessarily do anything wrong, other than like losing this daily. But in terms of like strategic maneuvering, I think he probably did all the right moves. It just took a right turn for him this week.
Yeah, I mean, all of the veteran men kind of have that story, right? Like Justin obviously had his bigger stuff with Derek, and when he goes into the elimination and he wins, and like, he's chopping it up with Leo about how everyone needs to stay sort of rookie strong. Jeremy is this like breakout athlete. He's cooking up this alliance with Dee and Sydney. And then just by virtue of the game changing is like now they're all spread out amongst this tight veteran woman alliance. Yeah. And what are they supposed to do? Like, I don't think that any of them should have made like a bigger move or fought with their partner or like thrown down their game, laid down their life for Jake or for Olivia or Theo, because it wasn't even like they were that close with that group of people anyway. So I think like that's a bummer for the new threats, is like the way the game is set up. The format is set up for you to sort of shine in the beginning and then be swallowed by the veteran alliance later. That said, I still think Leo, like, to spoil the end of our conversation, is very high up and certainly did enough to get invited back. And in a way, he's doing a lot of, if he had played the whole season the way he did the first half, he might be coming in on the outs with the next season's cast, or like have these kind of Olivia style like feuds with vets. He's able to make a big enough splash in the first half and then heal those relationships with some of these vets who now really like him. Seemed like when Bananas called him up on the podcast, like they all have a great relationship.
Yep.
This is maybe like best case scenario for how Leo could have performed aside from winning on this season.
Yeah, no, that's a great point because he can come in next season with clearly him and Ashley leave in very good terms. I would assume that like with Nani and some of the other people that he was working with, even like Navi, like he might have that connection, or he can even come in next season and try to be the ringleader of the new rookie crop and just go that route. I don't know, and try to bring in some of the other vet women too. So he's got some options. But yeah, I think it went in terms of not making a final and not placing. It probably went as best as it possibly could have for Leo.
Who's Navi?
Did I just combine Nani and Aviv? Is that what just happened in my head? Yeah.
I mean, you could convince me that there's someone named Navi on the season, absolutely. But
That's Nani and Aviv's couple name.
Who's
They're
Muffin?
Naviv.
Yeah. All right. I need to pick a bone with the challenge name. I know I normally sit back when you talk about the challenge, but
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard the word rune, R-U-N-E. Were you familiar with that word?
So I know it from like the Fourth Ring universe, the book series. The runes
Oh,
are
from
part
your
of that.
smut.
Yeah, from my smut. Isn't there like a movie is that not like one of those big action movies like Rune or something
Are
like
you
that?
thinking of Dune?
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so I don't know from that. Yeah, I just know, but the context in Fourth Wing is very, 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 very different than this. So it wouldn't. They're not pulling it from that. It's not that
Well,
different.
the
It's
challenge
not.
after hours. Brian
Yeah,
can
no,
explain
it's
that
certainly
on
no.
TikTok.
It's not. It's no, but it's not connected to that world. So I don't know what this would be.
So it's so funny because I think in the past that TJ's been saying rune and I thought it was ruin. And I was like, oh, I'll just
Hmm.
like accept that he's saying it weird. And like, even though it's like, like they're saying these like old like tablets that have a thing on it are ruins. And the whole time, I guess it's been runes, which is for the dummies like me, a letter of ancient Germanic alphabet related to the Roman alphabet. So it's like the actual characters. It blew my mind. Maybe it's just me.
That's amazing. No, I did not know that. So there you go. That's what they're racing.
I
So
actually went
the
back because I was like, did he say rune? And then I went back to when they flashed the title, and I'm always like, I don't know, looking down at my notes when they do that.
Mhm.
And I had to go back to see it spelled out. So that was very helpful.
Yeah, but for this daily, you have to race out and using a code of I guess of runes of the letters of rune. Match them up to numbers, solve a mathematical problem, run out into freezing cold water, race down, open a safe, collect your puzzle pieces, race them back, and put them together.
Yep.
It was a good one.
Straightforward.
Yeah, straightforward, very good. All happening at the same time. Got to see different skill sets, people working together. The freezing cold water was an interesting twist. Plus, what did Cedric point out that if you move too quickly, the algae scatters around to make it much more difficult to see, which is another fun element to this particular daily. So yeah, I thought this was a very well constructed daily. I really don't have any specific qualms about it particularly.
I agree. I liked that it's a water challenge that wasn't about swimming or like holding your breath and going down. It's just like,
Yeah,
what if it's waist deep but freezing and you can't see anything in it? Like, I
right.
like that.
Fun.
And I thought the puzzle was cool. Like, I haven't seen a puzzle like the way it was configured. So
Yeah.
yeah, I liked it. I also liked, even with the math, it didn't bother me. I don't normally love math, but it was interesting to see some of the usually stronger mental women in Ashley and Anissa kind of flop on the math this time.
Hmm.
I wasn't like happy to see it, but I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
New math.
it was what you had to get four numbers, and it wasn't so. The problem when they do it on the final is like if you mess it up, usually they're so far apart that if you mess one up, it's just like so debilitating for your time. Like here, if you mess it up, it wasn't like you could just go back and like you could go back a couple of times and like yeah, probably prevents you from maybe winning the daily, but amongst all these teams, but it's not so destructive that it's like if you mess up one number you're automatically going to lose or anything like that. So I think there was a good balance of if you get it right in the first go, take your time, it's a huge advantage, but you can still go back and forth a few times.
Yeah. And it was interesting to see like how help did and didn't play a part in this, like with Theo trying to help Olivia and Will, but giving him the wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I will sympathize. I don't want to come off as a Will sympathizer here, but like it would irritate me if I was trying to work on the puzzle and my partner is like shouting to her boyfriend, like ask him to do the math in his brain. Like work with me on the puzzle. Like don't
Right.
call your boyfriend and ask him for the help.
especially when he was wrong already. Like, I guess
Right,
you could ask
right.
for him once. You gave him the numbers, and he was wrong. So I don't know. Then maybe just like focus on what's happening here. The one interesting thing that there was talked about going into this daily, obviously with the 8 teams left, basically a 5-3 alliance block. But with the way the voting structure works here, if someone from the 5 won and someone from the 5 lost, it would be a 3-3 setup, and it could potentially throw the daily into or the voting into kind of chaos. Were you surprised that like Cedric and Michaela win? Did you think there would be a time where they would wait to win and maybe let one of the bottom three? Now they weren't necessarily super close, like if they weren't going back and forth with like a Theo and Adrian or something like that, so maybe they didn't want to play like that. But were you expecting someone to throw the win to let one of the minority three win to guarantee they would have the voting numbers to secure the nomination?
Yeah, so I think it's more the Michaela mentality of, well, if my allies who are stronger than me or bigger final threats get taken out, whatever, I'm still good enough with. I think a lot of these people probably feel still good enough in general that they won't be the biggest targets. And you have a pretty good chance of Anissa and Jake and Olivia and Will and Theo and Adrian finishing last, just like in general. I think
Mm-hmm.
like they are probably the weaker teams or the teams that have performed in the bottom most often. So like I wouldn't do it, frankly. I think this is like a strong alliance loosely held. Like when people are like strong opinions loosely held, like they're not gonna vote for each other, but really all of these people want to make the final. Eventually, I think a lot of people want Yermi and Aviv out. I think a lot of people want Turbo and Sydney out. So if they fall to the bottom and I just vote for a UK person against them, great. Or if the UK votes for them, it won't be me. So great. So I wasn't surprised, and I think frankly it would have been the wrong move for most members of the main alliance to risk getting voted in themselves or losing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the only thing is though is like they're like yes, they're not super tight the way like maybe like Theo and Olivia are super tight, but they have now voted together for a number of votes. That it would be pretty wild if at this point they flipped and turned on one of their own people. So I think the votes were there. Like this wasn't going to be like, oh, I don't know, what if someone flips? Like this five some or whatever it would be. Like they're pretty locked in voting together. So I think
I
they
mean that
would
you'd
be
like
pretty
end up
secure.
last. Like if you try to throw it, like can you? I mean, you're saying like
Like
literally they should have
when you're
like
on your
gone
last
up to the
piece,
last puzzle and just been
yeah,
like,
on your last
mm,
piece, just like kind of waiting just to see. Again, like I think specifically Michaela, I agree with you, Michaela of that crew, Michaela's the least likely to do it. I think she just wants to win, make sure no one can come for you for a stake, and she's fine with basically whoever goes. I wonder if someone else was in the mix, maybe they would have been more likely. And again, if like Olivia and Will, they were like neck and neck with them. It makes it a little bit easier. Maybe just let them win. I don't know, but I thought it would come up in conversation because they did have that conversation of if the number goes like certain way, like things could go bad. I was surprised like after the fact or even like during the daily, it wasn't like, oh wait, should we not win? Or I thought because it was set up, I thought people would discuss it more as it was playing out.
yeah. I mean, maybe it's a failure on the Closet Alliance's part to not make to basically make it clear that Turbo was going to go in or be their vote
Right.
because all of the main alliance house wants Turbo and Sydney to go home and not make the final. So maybe if they had planted more seeds that like Nani and Justin or Michaela or Cedric or like they didn't know who the target was going to be and they did more work there, it would have motivated a different finish. But
Yep.
on the flip side, maybe it was a great thing that they made it so that like they projected that like, hey, if you win and you come in last, our main target is someone you also want to get out. So like
Mm-hmm.
again, I don't think this is conscious, but like subconsciously, it's the right move to target the biggest threat in the house who everybody also has an interest in getting out, where they may not help you, they may not vote with you, but they're not going to do things like rig the challenge that you can't have a
Right.
chance at taking the hit.
Yeah. Well, what was great though? So the bottom three were Olivia and Will, Anissa and Jake, and then Ashley and Leo. And the whole episode opens up with Ashley and Leo losing. Um, we are set up with the three from the Closet Alliance, three from the smaller alliance. It's a real standoff headed into this nomination.
Very exciting outcome. Very strange also. I'm not surprised to see Ashley freak out, but it seemed like Ashley was freaking out when they had opened the chest and they were trying to release the puzzle pieces. Like, I don't know. It's just like a strange time for Ashley to be freaking out. Like, we need you to be moving here. Like, I could understand if the lock won't unlock, but I was like, oh, the puzzle pieces are out. Why is she having a meltdown?
Yeah, we can say that about a lot of different things sometimes with Ashley.
That's
So
true.
why is she doing so and so? So kind of fits.
But then on the flip side, she's so zen about going in against Theo and Adrian, who have won 3 eliminations, or Turbo and Sydney, who are the biggest threats in the house. So, like, from the woman who brought you, I might possibly have a chance at being the hangnail and I'm going to have a meltdown, comes, right. I'm totally fine to go in against 2 teams that will probably beat me.
It's hard to get into the mind of Ashley, and again, it's probably not a place we necessarily want to be.
So what ends up happening with Theo, I first had the thought, whereas like, should Theo try to appeal to Turbo and say, hey, old friend, things have gotten away from us. They all want to vote for you. I don't want to vote for you. What if you flip with us and then I can get them on Aviv and Jeremy instead? Like, I'm not saying he should have threatened Turbo the way he threatened Nani, but that was my first thought, is like, do we try to repair the friendship with Turbo? Do we try to say, like, we're 3 votes with you. If you don't want to go in, let's like see if we could work together. Turbo, I don't think Turbo would have been responsive to it, but I'm kind of surprised that there wasn't even like an attempt at knocking on Turbo's door.
Yeah, I think even more than that, I think the biggest problem with everything leading up to the nomination was what happened a few weeks ago. The fact what they knew what the tiebreaker was. I think if A, they didn't know what the tiebreaker was, or B, it was like a Survivor style tiebreaker where it goes to rocks, the 2 teams you vote for are safe and everyone else goes in. I think that opens these things up immensely, and there's a lot more conversations going in. But if you know going in, like if we just stick to our numbers, it's like, I can't go in, it's a 50-50 shot, maybe we'll get lucky and things work out our way. There's like, as Jeremy puts it, it's like, there's no, what are we talking about here? I'm not going to flip. There's no, it's not worth it at all to like go down that rabbit hole. And then what? I'm the bottom of your alliance, and then my old alliance is gunning for me number 1, all for like this like small upside. Like there's like no, like it's so not worth it. But if you don't know what's going to happen, or you could go in, yes, I think maybe not Turbo, because Turbo is a little bit more stubborn, but the conversation with like a Nani and Justin really opens up. You think Anissa is going to go down on her sword to protect like Theo and Adrian, like with her like basically Sandra game of like anyone but me? That might open up. There's so many other avenues that would have been much more interesting if the tiebreaker was anything but this stupid 50-50 coin flip.
Yeah, even if the tiebreaker, well, no, because if the tiebreaker was the winners decide, that, I mean, that doesn't help because it would still not like have movement from the majority alliance.
No.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's how I felt too when they like finally are like, well, bring out the coin. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is not incentivizing good gameplay, but that's why I still respected that Theo was willing to try. Like Theo acted like, it's easy. He has nothing to lose. Like he's going to get voted in every single week. So he might as well try and not let it just be decided by the coin. And so I like respected that. But I think there is a lot of outcomes where this would have just been a very boring episode where everybody just like walked to their fate because of the coin.
Yeah. I mean, look, obviously Theo's got to try. Like you might as well take the chance, go down different avenues with different people. I don't love the way he went down the Nani route. If we want to jump to that, I think like this was very much giving the 3 Musketeers, whatever they were in Survivor, when Malcolm had like all the idols and they just like made the big pitch at Tribal to like get people to vote for Philip. I think when you do something like that so publicly and like so basically threatening, like it's almost never going to work. The person's like never just going to back down and do what you want in the moment like that when you put them in a corner so publicly. If he had a conversation with Nani one-on-one in private about what could go down, again, based off the tiebreaker, I don't think Nani necessarily flips, but I think it is much more likely that she would flip in that circumstance than calling her out so publicly like that in front of everyone.
100%. And you're giving Mr. Honor the immediate opportunity to do what anyone like Turbo, Jordan, whatever would do, which is like, do not do what he's saying, Nani. Like,
Yeah.
the only incentive you have is because Nani is going to feel bad that she can't protect Turbo, or that not it'll affect her relationship with Turbo. Turbo will be mad. If you're doing it in front of Turbo in such a way that you're like humiliating Turbo and Nani, Turbo's immediately going to say, Nani, don't do this. We're good. Like, I'll throw myself in. And so you have to do it in a way where Nani is separated from Turbo and thinks that she is now in the decision seat about whether or not Turbo goes in, and then she applies her own guilt in a way that Turbo's not going to like be a hero and stand up in front of everybody and say, don't do this. I still think Nani wouldn't have succumbed to this, because I think she would have talked to Turbo and he would have agreed. Like, the same thing result would have happened. But the only indication we have, and I think we talked about this last week, is like Nani says to Aviv, whatever you're thinking about Turbo, like, don't even tell me.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, her kind of burn vote style. Like, I won't be involved in getting rid of Turbo, but don't even tell me if you want to get rid of Turbo. Blindside me so that I don't have to have been involved. So in that respect, I don't think Nani would throw her game away for Turbo, even if like Theo brought her in. But he gave her the ultimate get out of jail card of like, you're being a jerk, and everyone could see you're a jerk. So why would I listen to you?
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, it was very entertaining. It was a much more fun way to watch this go down than having quiet, calm conversations and having it play out the same way. So kudos to Theo for doing it like that for our own fun. Like, that was a great moment with him just standing up and like trying to take ownership of it. It was great. TJ was lovely. You don't really see TJ sometimes crack a smile and stuff like that. I think he was like, "Oh, this is good TV."
And it was a perfect foil to what I think was one of the worst pitches of the night, was Adrian's to Jeremy and Aviv. Unclear why it had to be separate. If you're going to talk to both of them, it's one thing if you're like, I'm going to talk to Jeremy, he's a new threat, we have a relationship, and I'll let him run it up the chain. To sort of try to talk to both of them separately is like, they're going to talk. This isn't Will and Olivia. They have a good relationship. But she really couldn't land the plane. She was like trying to act. You give the UK Alliance or the Closet Alliance like a shred of hope that they one day for one vote might have the numbers, and she like completely falls apart on what, like, as though she has a lot to offer them.
Yeah, there wasn't much to pitch. It's tough to knock her too much because it was a very tough sell to try to do anyway. I really appreciated the way Jeremy went about it. Like, he wasn't like shooting her down to her face, and then in confessional was like, "Hey, this is stupid." Like, obviously, like on a game perspective, this doesn't make much sense. Which to me gives, I view Jeremy as even more so as someone like who does have like a good strategic mind for these games. Sometimes we see like the big juiced head guy who's just like a big Dumbo on these shows, but it seems like he actually it does have a very good strategic mind to these types of things and is playing it very, very well. So I came away from that more impressed with Jeremy based off how he handled it to Adrian's face, and then how he handled it, his true feelings to us in confessional.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. The only thing I'm thinking of is like, there a better way to have made the pitch, because I do think Adrian's right. I think Aviv and Jeremy are probably on the bottom of that alliance, but it doesn't really matter because there are 4 people that are going to make the final. So like, again, you don't have to be someone's number one. Yep. But like, I'm curious to look up how many of the winners of the dailies in the last, since there have been permanent teams. Let's see which side. Okay. So Cedric, Dee and Derek, Aviv and Jeremy, Justin, Nani have been the winners. And like, I don't know, is there a pitch to basically be like, look, the winners don't vote. Your alliance wins every challenge and is likely to continue winning every challenge. You're not going to have the votes next week. What's the plan? Like, what do you think their plan is in that case? Do you feel good? Do you feel like you'll be in the situation? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, let's work it out. So Ashley and Leo are gone. If, let's say, Turbo and Sydney win next week. Mm-hmm. So Nani, Aviv, Michaela versus Theo, Olivia, and Anissa. So it's like, are we going to do this every week? Are we going to do a coin flip every week? Are you guys going to be willing to throw challenges? I guess
Mhm.
it depends who loses. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
I
thinking of
think
this too much off the top of my head, but like, is there a better pitch, I guess, that Adrian could have made to Jeremy that's more based on helping Jeremy and Aviv?
I feel like the pitch you could try to make, and it's kind of a tough sell. And they kind of do it a little bit just specifically with Turbo, but you try to make it that our group is not really threatening for a final. You try to sell
Right.
that like, look, Anissa, she's been doing the show for 100 years. She's never going to win. Olivia is super underperforming. Her and Will hate each other. They have
She's
bad.
pregnant.
Yeah, she's pregnant. They can't win a final. They're not good. Theo, like, sure, he's like this big guy winning all the eliminations, but his endurance isn't great. He's going to crash out in the final. I stink in a final. I'm just happy to be there. I'm not going to do anything. Wouldn't you rather go against R3 in a final than go up against Justin and Nani have all this camaraderie. They're working so well together. You could try to like even like Ashley and Leo. I guess they already lost, but like you try to like build up that group as more of the final threat, and then you top it off being like, and then most importantly, you can have Sydney and Turbo get to a final. We have to make sure they get up because they're the clear biggest threat. So you come with us, you have a much better chance of winning a final.
So then that's the problem. I mean, I think, yes, that's the pitch. The problem is you've got to couple that with like how joining the UK will give you a majority position. And I think they didn't have that this week. Maybe with Ashley and Leo gone, depending on how the numbers flop, like maybe they have a better case for that next week. That like Yermi understandably was nervous. If I join you, I'm now the biggest target on your side, and I'm not
Right.
friends with any of you on the bottom of your side. So like
Yeah.
if you flip, you have to have protection, and that's not something that Adrian is able to offer. But I also think you're barking up the wrong tree because Jeremy is like a Jordan, a Turbo, a Yes type of like, I want to beat the best. I want to be in the
Right.
final with Turbo and Cedric. I think Michaela and Cedric are potentially, at least Michaela might have an ear for that. Like she's aware that she's got to get rid of some of these people in her own alliance in order to have a chance at the final. Nani and Justin might be open to that, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
guys have been performing well in the challenges and the dailies. You have a real shot, Nani, to win this. Do you want to take it against Jeremy and Aviv? Do you want to take it against Sydney and Turbo? Or do you want to take it against Anissa and Jake?
Right. Yeah. No, that's you could try to do it that way. And then the other thing is like with the way this format is now, the way the numbers are shaken out like this, there's no way to guarantee safety to either side because there's no clear understanding as to which side is going to have the voting majority really the next
Right.
few weeks because of based off who wins, who loses. You take out 2 votes potentially on either side. It swings the balance of power immensely. So they could say like, "Oh, you're with us." Like, let's say Jeremy and Aviv flip and they go that side, and then next week Olivia and Will win the daily, Theo and Adrian lose the daily, then Aviv and Jeremy are sitting ducks for the other side to vote them in because now they don't have the majority anymore. So you can
Right.
promise them majority all you want, but you can't do anything about it with the way the voting situation is.
Yeah, I think we really have to see what happens next week. Yeah, you have it to, I guess, in defense of Turbo just blowing up Nani at deliberation. Who knows how much time he had between when he thought about doing it and
Mm-hmm.
deliberation, because you really can only operate in the format of the game as decided by the daily results.
Yep.
You kind of can't like have these conversations for 3 weeks ahead.
Right.
Good
Right.
format. Shout out.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little annoying of Aviv. Sorry to hate on Aviv, who's I think otherwise a challenge darling. Like, why is Aviv so thrown off by the idea that the alliance she's been voting for every single week, week in and week out, might eventually vote for her or use her as a decoy? Like when she comes knocking on Anissa's door
Yeah.
and is like, "You won't vote for me, right?" Like, you can't vote against someone consistently and expect them to be loyal to you in response. Like, she has the
Right.
confession of like, I've kept a good relationship with Theo, so I keep voting for him, but I won't be at the top of his list. Yeah, that's a good idea to like socially have a good relationship with someone you're voting against, so you're not the top of their list. But you and your partner are very threatening physically, and they're going to come for you if they have an opportunity, and you can't get so thrown off like you're entitled to their loyalty when you're not providing it. I really, really was irritated by this scene.
Yeah. The one thing that it did give more clarity on was I didn't understand why like Anissa and Jake wouldn't be more of an option as just like, let's just vote them in, maybe just to get them out. And I think it adds credence of like Aviv is thinking, well, she won't vote for me, so maybe I'll try to keep her safe and as like that fake number on the other side, which kind of works in theory, I guess. If you have, it's kind of like what Leo and Jake, I think, were trying to do, right? Like they're in opposite alliances, but they'll try to keep their alliance from targeting them. But obviously, if push comes to shove, like you're gonna have to go again. Like you're voting out all their friends, so you're gonna have to like put them in at some point. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, and I don't think that Nani and Aviv would hesitate to actually vote for Nisa if that's what it came down to. I think Aviv's able to say that right now because it suits them both. But I think that's one thing Theo has robbed us from this season is like if Theo and Adrian were gone a couple weeks ago, who would Nani save? Her boyfriend or her friend that she's on the outs with in Anissa? So like also Will and Olivia, bigger threats to win the final. Anissa and Jake might be an elimination concern, though we haven't really seen like headbangers in this format. Somebody might be worried about that. So I think like Theo staying in the game. Theo and Adrian are the only reason that Anissa's been protected. I don't actually think it's been her relationship with Aviv. And I think Anissa knows that or
Right.
should know that.
Yeah. It's also funny. Like I know Will is like super upset at Olivia's performance through all this time, but if you think back the first half of the show, like Olivia was thought of as like the top female competitor, and the fact that she has been bad in Will's mind and maybe the rest of the cast mind is probably also the thing that's keeping them safe. The fact that, like, yes, you know, once you throw in Theo and Adrian, it makes it more likely to throw them in every time. But if Olivia and Will were like winning daily, and then all of a sudden 1 week they're available, it's like, oh, actually, let's just vote in Olivia and Will because they're the stronger teams. The fact that Olivia's kind of been like not on her top game, I know Will hates it, but it's probably like the best thing that they have going for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also Theo and Adrian are truly the least connected of the three pairs. So, like, again, like I think the social connections and you're right, the performance of both of them, both pairs who are not getting votes, Anissa and Jake and Will and Olivia, are helping them. But I don't think any of this would help them if, again, their big shield, the boyfriend shield, wasn't there.
Right. Yep.
All right, so I thought it was interesting to see Turbo and Sydney versus Ashley and Leo. Like, I'm annoyed about the coin flip, but I thought it flipped the best way possible. Like, that's like we have to be rooting for these kind of exciting results.
Oh, definitely. This, you know, no matter what it takes out, it makes things much more interesting for next week based off whoever goes home. It's a good, interesting matchup. Yeah, I was definitely happy with the coin landing as it did.
And then the other Aviv style irritation I had again was Nani. Like, I think one thing that's made the season great is that the vets haven't been able to like act entitled to wins and alliances and deference on the votes. And it's too early to send me in. I'm too established. I'm too threatening. Like, this was kind of cracks in that where like Nani goes to Theo crying, angry. How dare you do that to me? It's like, he's got to be taking moves. I'm alarmed, Nani, that you don't see this for what it is as like a bottom person making a move. I would like you to do that if you were on the bottom. And
Right.
you should be like, fair play. It didn't work. My social alliances are so strong. Turbo is rides for me. And I thought her crumbling of like, I'm not a bad person really just reveals like she won't throw her game away for Turbo.
No.
Even if, and like, that's fine, Nani. That is fine. Turbo's not mad at you. But taking it out on Theo that you perhaps have too many friends in the house and are writing checks your tush can't cash in terms of protecting them is not Theo's problem.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. But good for Theo to at least try to see, like, basically like playing like Nani's like biggest fear. Like, oh, see, you didn't do it this way. Now Turbo's going in. Maybe next week. Maybe we do a little bit something different. You can help me out. So again, it's, as Adam Klein would say, it's always worth a shot. So take that shot.
Yeah, Nani's going to be like, well, since you put me on my back foot, now you've made me never willing to save Turbo. Like, you know,
Yep.
it's like everyone's just looking for an excuse to play into like protecting the relationships they've had for multiple seasons. And I love that part about the challenge. And I love that this season, that's not the entire ethos of the season.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's been a very good season. I feel like that's the majority opinion. I would hope. I don't know what more
Yeah.
you would want in a challenge season, but I think it's been pretty
Leroy
good.
win. Is that too much to ask? A Leroy win? But...
Yeah, well, that's too much to ask. Anything else before the elimination?
Nope.
We get "Wake Me Up." Evanescence comes out to perform. Run out to one person's attached up to a
Okay,
pulley
wait.
string.
Sorry, I have to. So that's interesting. So you think like, wake me up inside?
That's
I
right.
thought, wake me up before you go.
Wow.
Like, obviously, I think you're right, but like, I'm just like,
I mean, it's
oh,
probably neither. It's like using weight to lift me up. So I think that's probably more where it comes from. But I'm going that route.
it's like when you hear that what the first beat of like some, and it's like millennials think, buddy, and I forget what the other one is.
Isn't there one? It's Pink Pony Club, right? Doesn't that start with something that's the beginning of the notes? It's like something that sounds like a
You'll have to
like a
ask
song.
Jofo about that.
Yeah, I can't think of it. But yeah, for this one partner is attached to kind of like a pulley rope. The other person runs outside of the arena, very dramatic, leaving the arena to collect 35 cannonballs, put them in one at a time to lift the partner up as they collect some puzzle pieces, and then finally the last one drops them down, and then to solve kind of a Sudoku-ish style, not Sudoku, I don't know, like some sort of like the number puzzle.
It's like a junior Sudoku. It's like
Yeah.
for babies. Also, it's I Will Survive. I just googled it, so we didn't get added.
Okay.
But okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought the puzzle was fine. I thought it was really interesting to see Ashley like think she's figuring out the puzzle from the air, which is like my real criticism of this is like it's boring that the women are just like doing nothing. And then like I don't know, perhaps they should have to do the puzzle by themselves so that there's like some decision making in which role is which and each person needing to do something.
Yeah.
But Ashley kind of gamed that by at least trying to work from the hanging position.
Yeah, there should have been more to collecting the puzzle pieces maybe along the way than just like reaching in and grabbing that. I don't know, like you have to untie a rope or do something along the way to collect the pieces. It did feel kind of weird. But I feel like the weird part is I feel like Ashley clocked what the puzzle was right away, but like still couldn't figure it out. Like she knew, she's like, all right, there's going to be a number in the middle and it's got to add up all on the sides, but then they couldn't figure it out. The issue was they couldn't figure out what the numbers were because they were kind of like oddly shaped that like it could have been like a 6 or like I couldn't figure out what Ashley's problem was. The runes, like, was that the issue that they weren't sure? Well, is this a 4 or like a 9 or like a 6 or like I couldn't tell what Ashley's problem was because I feel like she clocked what to do like before it even started.
Yeah, it was surprising. I think what she told us is like she thought like the rows were gonna have to line up. So like maybe she was trying to put like a number in the center. So and also the center number, which was different for each of them, was concealed. So like she didn't have the basically solution to the puzzle while she was up there. So I don't know if she was just once it almost like hurt her that she like thought she understood it, that like the top number maybe was going to be the number it adds to, and maybe she was doing too much like subtraction work trying to make it work. But yeah, it seemed pretty straightforward that like it would be the sides of the triangles. Shout out to Turbo for figuring that out. I was rooting for Turbo and Sydney. No disrespect for Ashley, but something that turned my stomach.
Ooh.
Such a bad look. Anissa. Like, you're going to stand on business about how Nani is a bad friend to you. You've now destroyed your relationship with the other side of the house over what Ashley said about you. What Anissa reports Ashley said, horrible. I can't condone that. Obviously, I hate that. Rooting for it's one thing if you're just like, I wish Turbo and Sydney would go home. Why are you openly rooting for her? You look so bad doing that. I was like, yikes, that is exactly what Nani's been saying. Like, you're good with her sometimes, you're not good with her other times. Ugh.
It's a little, but I kind of respect it because I think this was like Anissa's moment of like understanding. Not that like her rooting and like it's not really going to actively change the elimination, but in the off chance it was, she's like, look, I've been doing this forever. I need Sydney and Turbo gone to win a final. I want them gone. I'm going to do whatever I can, yes, it's helping like Ashley of all people, but I want them gone. So like I kind of respect it. She's doing doing the little extra dirty move because it helps her slightly in the game. Again, I don't know how much her yelling out potential answers would help, but in the off chance it would, go for it. Try to take out maybe the biggest threat.
If you're trying to solve the puzzle, that's one thing. I don't even know that she had visibility on the puzzle. What boiled my blood is she's like, "You got it, Ash. Good job, Ash." Like, she's not helping. She's just, and sure, like, could an environment of people rooting for you help? Sure. Probably more likely to hurt. You're trying to focus on the puzzle and you're just hearing noise at you. But like, if you are willing to work with Ashley or root for Ashley for your game, then why do you expect something different of Nani?
Sure.
Why is Nani supposed to blow up her relationships and her game? And sorry, if you said something to me about my dad when he was in hospice, you will not catch me rooting for you
Right.
vocally. Like, yeah, girl, like, yeah, Ash. So you're right. You are right, but I am petty. Like, I just like couldn't from one petty queen to another. I expected more from Anissa. The confessional to be like, God, I want Ashley to win, but like, you will not catch me clapping in this elimination. I would have been like, yes, which is like, yay, Ash. I was like, ugh.
The yay, that's not great, but like I guess trying to help the puzzle, I can understand. But yeah, but look, it's hypocritical, but also like it was funny to see that, but then it was extra funny to have Ashley on her way out the door, just yell out to just what was it? Just Nani, Aviv, and who's the third one? Nani, Aviv. Yeah. There was a third. Michaela.
Yeah.
Michaela. Be like, I better see you three women in the final. It was very funny.
It's interesting though. Yeah, it's like, but it's interesting with Sydney, right? Because obviously, like, the Sydney D Jeremy alliance was always, and America was always sort of like in the beta position, in the relationship of convenience. Like, we're gonna go spread this name, you spread that name, we'll link up later. Then when they became pairs, it kind of seemed like Sydney and Turbo were like actually in with them. Mm-hmm. Now, like, her kind of saying that is like really putting a line in the sand. Less so, it's not a surprise with Anissa. It was a surprise to make that call out and exclude Sydney. So like, game on against Sydney and Turbo.
The one extra thing that I found to be super weird, and it makes me question how much TJ really knows these people at all. Like, I don't think this is about Leo, because he met Leo for the first time this season, and I don't think he would have a basis to say this. But on the way out the door, TJ says to them, I think to Ashley, what I love about you is you win and lose with grace. I'm sorry, are we talking about the same Ashley? On what planet has the word grace and Ashley ever been used together, unless there's the word not in between? That is a wild thing to say to Ashley, that she wins and loses with. I love Ashley on the show as a character. There is nothing about her that is winning and losing with grace. Like, maybe here, oddly, this was like the most she's ever lost with grace, sure, but that is not something I would list out as a characteristic of Millionaire Mitchell.
It was really weird. I don't think Ashley would say it about herself either. No. And like, she is most well known for winning without grace and taking the money from her partner, like, which again, I endorse as her decision, but like, I support that. But that was winning with not a shred of grace.
That's how she became Millionaire Mitchell. Otherwise, she'd be half Millionaire Mitchell if she had grace.
Yeah, she won with a middle finger.
Right. As she should have. She deserved that. But that's not grace. No, very odd. I don't know what on earth TJ was talking about there. But sure.
Yeah, sure. Leo coming back?
I would love to see it. Absolutely. I think he'd be great to come back. I think he's number one on my list, I would say right now, probably of the Newts.
Of the eliminated Newts?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of, is it likelihood to come back or want to come back, or both?
I think probably both, honestly. I don't know who else would have left that would be more than Iyer. Yeah, I mean, look, I think I would love Lecca to come back, but at this point, again, we're moving like very far beyond justice for Lecca, that I think she's going to become more of just like a footnote of this season, unfortunately.
Which is what's so funny about that, is because like my love for Lecca is in spite of the Justice for Lecca movement.
Right. Right.
Justice for Lecca. Justice for
Right.
real
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah, like I mean, I think like D super high on the list, obviously. But I think Leo's right up there.
Yeah, I think Leo's number one. I think that's right. Probably in likelihood and my interest. Let's talk a little business
Ooh,
if we can. Do we have
I
a
love
newt this week? No one really jumped out for me. If
I
you've
mean,
got someone.
we gave Adrian the newt of the a career newt award last week. Um, yeah, I don't think anyone particularly gets one. I mean, it's kind of more of a vet driven episode, so not really.
Yeah. So obviously a lot's been going on with MTV and acquisitions and shmah. But bananas this week. I mean, I've basically been ignoring the whole thing to say the least of like the constant rumors that MTV is completely shutting down. Is it just shutting down anything related to music programming? Is it shutting down completely? So Bananas and Leroy had a conversation on the Bananas Pod. Two of the strongest minds in the M&A world had a conversation. And Bananas is saying that season 42 of the challenge has made the cut, survived Skydance's analysis, and will be moving to Paramount when MTV folds. And that season 42 will be the most, again, this is all from Bananas, the most important season of the challenge because we, the fans, them, the contestants, will all need to work together to prove to Skydance that they are, quote, worth keeping around. And okay. I mean, I wish that season 41 was the proof because, like, season 41 lock in, baby. Maybe the high of this season will bring people for season 42. I'm also hopeful that like people now will be able to have access to watching it. I think we constantly, one of the biggest comments we get is like, I can't watch this. I purchase it on Prime. It gives me the wrong episode. I don't have access to MTV. Why can't it be on Paramount? So like maybe consolidating the audience on one streaming service will be excellent for the show.
The one thing odd about that is I do, and maybe it's just like an All Stars thing. I don't know, but I do feel like the All Stars on Paramount still gets less buzz than this on MTV that people struggle to watch. So I don't know if it's exclusively on Paramount, if that'll drive viewership. Obviously, the best case scenario is it's still on MTV and they put the episodes on Paramount like the day after, which it's crazy that they don't do. But I don't know. Again, maybe it's like an all-star thing and people just don't really are not liking that version of it and only want to watch Challenge Proper or whatever. But it does feel like our numbers and like the general performance of the challenge discussion is better for Challenge Proper on MTV than All Stars on Paramount.
Yeah, I was going to say, how are you measuring buzz? But then you answered that. And I agree. I mean, I think specifically for the podcast, that's definitely true. Yeah, I don't know, but Bananas is sounding the alarm that people need to come out in droves to support the season 42.
Which is it's gonna be so funny on like the beginning of 40, like the season. Bananas is like, you don't vote me out, you're gonna kill the franchise. If you get me out early, you gotta let me stay out for a long time. Otherwise, this franchise is gonna be over. You want to be on the show for 43, 44, and 45? You got to make sure I last to the final. Get in line.
You know what doesn't look good? Desperation. Like, it's a good show. This is a great season. It's on the up and up. Come in or don't, it's fine. We'll be fine. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. Be interesting. I feel like MTV and the challenge has been on the verge of ending for a while now, so
yeah,
I'll believe it when I see it.
I have like tried to look into this and I like really can't get an answer. I mean, and then every article, it's like I just Googled it again. It's like MTV channels are switching off. Fact or fiction, is MTV shutting down? It's axing its music channels in the UK. Like, because I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not watching channel 520 where like they're running like music videos somewhere. Is that still happening? Like, what are the music channels? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that wound down many years ago.
Well, according to News San Diego, ABC affiliate News San Diego, MTV is not shutting down in the US, but 5 of its international channels will be saying goodbye by the end of the year, including these music channels. Only the flagship MTV HD, which focuses primarily on reality programming, not music, will remain on the air overseas. For now, MTV channels in the US and Canada are not impacted, though they're still being analyzed by the board. Bananas, like making us look like idiots over here. Never mind. Watch 42 if you want. Who cares?
Banana spreading fake news about a story he doesn't really know about? That doesn't sound like John. That's not John.
Yeah. America needs to like retweet this video with like this is not true. I wonder what else Bananas has said that's not true.
Right. Exactly. All right. That's episode 14. You can subscribe. robswebsite.com/challenge feed. Follow me on Twitter, Cohen Brown _. I guess TikTok, challenge wrap-ups. Join the Facebook group. Join that.
Thriving.
Keep up with you. Follow you. Nowhere.
Don't keep up with me. I'm here. This is what you get once a week. Nobody needs to move me more than once a week. Mm-hmm. Oh, but also, if you do, New Girl, Old Guy, thriving, talking about the paper. My favorite episode of the paper dropped last week. So Check that out. We're thriving.
We'll be back next week for episode 15. Till then, have a good one.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.